And we're live. As you guys noticed, we got this great anthem done for us, and we're trying to tweak it so it doesn't look like it's an afterthought. It's going to be professionally revamped, and we're going to have a whole cool intro with our rep. Anyways, hey, Dave DesRochers, joined by my buddy Walter Thurmond III.
How you guys doing?
And this is Hawk Talk, man. And we're gonna be talking, Seahawks football like we always do. And we will be joined shortly by Sean Springs, and we'll talk a little bit more about him and his career with the Hawks. And then our 12s this week are Deanna Rowe and her husband Ron Logan. Kind of fitting. He's an Army veteran, so one day after Veterans Day. Great to have them on board. We'll bring them in here in a little while. But so Walt, yesterday was pretty cool. Veterans Day. You hosted a Veterans Golf Invitational that we were a handful of us were at. Talk about how you got involved with that and what inspired you to do that.
Yeah, it was the first annual Airman Classic. Brother-in-law is a active service member with the March Air Force Base out in Moreno Valley, California. They wanted to raise some funds and bring awareness to the 912 Booster Club. So it's a air-taking carrier that goes out and refuels a lot of our military aircraft planes midair. And they've been doing it. They perfected the technique and craft. They've been doing it for decades now, since having the technology. And the funds that were kind of raised for the event and some of the awareness is to help support the active service members' families as their significant other is deployed overseas in some capacity. So whether it's kind of just hangouts, get together with the kids, if it's going to be a Christmas holiday party, it's just being able to create morale within the community of this 912 Booster Club. So I wanted to work with them on the alumni side of things and kind of bring some awareness and just kind of put this event together for Veterans Day and for some of the active service members and looking kind of build upon what they have going on and being able to support them.
Well, and I think we have a photo of us doing something. So Anne Marie says, Dave, you and Walt do all this great stuff, and you never take any pictures. So I guess people need proof, and so there's some proof right there. Me and Walt doing some stuff, and then we took the week off last week because we were out voting, right?
Election day action, yeah.
Yep, doing our civic duty, and so then I forgot. I'm going to say this right now. I don't know if JB could throw this one up because last weekend. You and I were out in Riverside for Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, another relationship that we've been kind of cultivating with NFL alumni, and being able to bring more awareness to getting more people to be mentors.
There we are.
And being able to give their personal experience and help young individuals that may be coming from a rougher environment. It varies, right? Kids are going through a lot of different things and need kind of that impact and guidance to be able to kind of navigate life in some regard. And it's always something to where you find something relatable. So just being able to pay it forward, if you will, and kind of understanding what mentors have meant for myself and probably yourself as well, Dave. Kind of being able to navigate going through high school to college, get into the NFL, and careers beyond that. There's always some people that kind of help mentor and inspire, and that's in some capacity. So just being able to kind of cultivate that type of relationship and just continue to bring more awareness. I think the last show that we had, military veteran wasn't Big Brothers Big Sisters, so it's kind of an interesting type of situation where out of New Mexico or actually Oklahoma, being able to be impacted in that capacity. So just kind of showing the importance of mentorship and just continue to pay it forward.
Well, it was really cool. So, we both showed up there and representing the Seahawks football. We ran into a 12 there, a huge fan. She had a blast and we signed some stuff for her son. And so she was really excited. But I think more important, Walt, share what their goal was as far as signing up mentors and what they actually achieved at the event that you sponsored.
Yeah, so they were First off, it was at a 49ers bar. That's the first thing. So we were a little outnumbered there. But no, their goal was to look for 3 to 5 people to actively come on and be mentors and register to be mentors. They end up getting 17 signups that afternoon. Within a couple of hours of in between games, before games, in between games. I think by the time that I kind of got there, it was on their prompt on time, but they still had 3 to 5 signups already. So they had already reached their number early on in the day of people, coming on and, seeing the importance of being a mentor, wanting to be able to kind of give back and do their part to be able to help inspire a young individual.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. And it figures it was a Niners bar because the ceilings were really low. I kept hitting my head, No, I don't want to give them a hard time. But everyone was very nice, and it was a great event. And getting involved in the community is, we keep sharing it, is so important to us former players. And it's so great to have the 12s, support us so much. And, tonight, there was no game for us to recap. So that part went pretty easy. We had
the Niners going into this week. That's what
we had that tough loss in overtime. We didn't get a chance to talk about that last week. A game that we probably should have won again. So we've got the Niners coming up, and I know you're still looking at your schedule, but I've got killer tickets or 10 rows up, season tickets, all we can eat. The game plan is to get up early, road trip, because I've got a veterans event with a bunch of Medal of Honor recipients the night before that Anne-Marie and I are going to go to. So, we'll see
how it plays out.
Yeah. What kind of gamer you are, because then I got to be back because we have an event the next day as well. But want to thank Kenny Burns, who reached out. He's got a huge event coming up. And I think I sent that to JB, the photo of it. And if I didn't, JB, I'll send it. Nope. It's on our post here. Hang on one second, because it's not this weekend, because this weekend we got the Niners, but the following weekend against Arizona, we have they're having a big event all weekend long. And I'm going to send that to you, JB, right? Oh, yeah, I just sent it. It's the Seahawks and Arizona invasion. We can put that up. There it is. And the key host right there is Sean Springs, who is our guest tonight. And, Sean was only the 3rd overall pick of the first round in 97, spent 13 seasons in the league. He's on the 35th anniversary Seahawks team. And he just came in hot from a business meeting, but he's on. And Sean, well, we can take the picture down so we can see Sean.
Can you see me, brother?
Nope. I see like a ceiling.
It's like blurred for some reason. I don't know why. Let me see. Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Oh. Are you on your phone or laptop?
I'm on it. I gotta.
I do know.
I got to get better at my. I got to get better at my camera game.
Hey, Sean, there you are.
There it is. What up, Big Dave? What up, Big Thurmond? What's good?
Yeah.
So Sean, you're gonna appreciate this. So we had Edwin Bailey on, right? And everyone knows EB, right? So love him, man. He's on his cell phone. So literally, he walked around the cell phone. So we're looking at his cheek and his ear the whole time, like he's talking to us on the phone. Like, just let him be, because it was great. So thanks for joining us tonight. I know you have a busy schedule. You run 13 companies. Kenny was telling me, or some kind of thing. But we're gonna get into what you're doing. But here's the cool dynamic of what this show's all about. We're bringing in former players all the time. I was there 88, 89, you're there 10 years later, and then Walt's there 10 years after you, right? And we're talking about, a span of 20 some years of Seahawk football in different eras, and, some successful, some not so successful. And, but
I think I was a little bit of both. I was with the old Seahawks, and I was the first class of the modern day Seahawks of it today,
All right. So So what did you think about the uniform? So you did the uniform change,
Yeah.
us old grumpy guys, I was going, oh man, that looks horrible. I love it now. But at first I'm like, I didn't.
Yeah, man. I was the crazy thing was when we first saw it, I was part. It was like me and Sean A, and I think Hasselback and maybe Max Strong at the time.
Yep.
We were the like part of the first four to see the uniforms,
Okay.
and, model out the uniforms, and I was like, man, this is dope. First of all, because the old silver ones. They were a little baggy and stretched out. I think they Steve Largent might have worn them. They ain't switch them all over too much. But no, I actually love the U uniforms, man. All white, the blue. And then when I saw the way Nike just did the
latest ones,
I was like, yo, I missed those. Those are slick, right? The silver, and that blue. But man. It was a good time to be part of the old and the new generation of Seahawks, man.
Yeah. So it just to correct myself, Kenny's and feel free to check out the chat. But Kenny's reminded me that it's the December 7th is when we're going to be in Arizona.
Yeah,
right? A big blowout the night before, the day of the game. We got the tailgate and. Kenny goes, some people don't even go to the game. They're having such a great time at the tailgate deal, but it's across the street from the stadium.
And it's going to be a crazy weekend down there because it's going to be a big game. Arizona riding high.
Big game.
They're in first place, but hopefully by that time we've made a move because we got the 49ers coming up. And then then by that time when we play Arizona, we be in a lot better position. Or at least we're going to know who in position to win the division. So that weekend it's going to be the Hawk invasion is going to come out, and man, we're going to do our thing.
That's right. Yep. And another decade before you, Patrick Hunter is going to probably be there. He's in Arizona. We got a few other guys we're reaching out to, so it'd be nice to have a group of guys, hanging out with the 12s and make a little ruckus in Arizona.
How long have you been doing this event in Arizona?
This is my first time doing an event. My boy Daryl Jackson, legendary Seahawk receiver, he told me about it, and he was just saying, man, this is a big time event. It's a great event. Yeah. You should come out and support it. And and any chance I get to support, I'm on the East Coast, but any chance I get to come out to the West Coast or support my team, I will, man. So
Thurmond, especially in December, because you're coming out from you're like DC. Where you at?
I'm with DC. In fact, I just did a little Commanders podcast, and I was so pumped because I had Bobby, man. Me and Bobby chopped it up for a little bit. Great dude, man. Yeah. And I'll be flying out from DC on that time. It'll be cold, so it'll be nice out there.
Yeah, get into that a little bit of that desert, a little desert warmth before the winter comes.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
So I just want to thank everybody that's been signing in. Hey, Sean, just so you know, we've been doing this for a little over a year and a half. This is our second season of doing it. We're just growing it out, and son of a gun, we've been having such a good time and a following that we decided to get serious with it. So, we're launching our own YouTube channel. We've been working with Sideline Sports. JB's our producer who brought you in, and JB and John and Raphael have been huge supporters of us to kick this thing off, and we've been we've been like the little brother. We've been underneath their YouTube channel. So now we just open it up, and all we do is ask our 12s to support us. And like within a day or two, we had 50 subscribers, so we can go live. And they're so great, and you can see the names there. Triple M and Sharon and Larissa and then Kenny, our boy Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, but Kenny, tell us how many years you've been doing this event in AZ, because he's the man.
He's the one that throws the event. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure he'll chime in and let us know. So you mentioned some names. We've had Max Strong on the show. Yeah. And Sean and I've done some things at the Super Bowl. Great dude. I actually love to have Bobby on, but what was it? So what was it like? Your years with the Hawks. Highlights, lowlights.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell everybody an interesting story. A lot of people don't know, man. Like in 1997, when I was drafted, man, I can't even believe it's been that long, man. It's been forever. Well, Thurm, don't even tell me what grade you was in, man. If you were born in that, I don't even want to know, Thurm.
Hey, I was always a big fan of your style of play at the cornerback spot for sure. So
I thank you, brother. So 1997, I was drafted, and the Seahawks was going through a transition. A lot of people don't even remember they were up for sale, and the team was actually practicing in Anaheim. And Mr. Allen, Paul Allen, was about to buy the team. So he put up $300 million of his own money to buy the team. But it still needed like voters in King County to put up additional taxpayer dollars for the new stadium. So a week later, I flew out, or a couple of weeks later after the mini camp, I had to go around with Mr. Allen. The reason why it was me, because I was drafted with Big Walt Jones. Y'all know big sexy Big Walt, my boy. Me and him were drafted together, but Walt ain't gonna say about 3 words. Today he talked about before, Walt ain't say nothing. So the Seahawks had me out going around with Mr. Allen talking about how we are gonna change the organization, how we was gonna keep the team in King County, redo the stadium. Because my first 2 years was in the Kingdom. Big Dave, you know about that.
Yes, sir.
So my first 2 years was in the Kingdom. So the interesting thing was that I was Mr. Allen's first draft pick, man. And I spent so much time with him and stuff. And I never forget, he was like, hey, we're going to build, this new franchise, redo all downtown. We're going to build this franchise with some young, exciting players. And that's when Randy Mueller drafted me and Walt early, Atula Millie in that class and stuff like that. And that led to a little bit of change, man. That was really cool, man, because they also brought in some free agents. I had old school Warren Moon and my Ohio State Buckeye Gallo, Cortez. I was a rookie, Cortez Kennedy. Then eventually him and Brian Blaze moved on. And then it became, Sean Alexander. Mac was still there. Hasselback. My boy True Font. My little brother was a dude named Marcus True Font. Him and Ken Lucas and Ken Hamlin. And Chad Brown. So you could see the change in their commitment to winning. We had, that's when we just bought the brand new jet. So we felt like, and I love the love because guys like Kenny Easley, Jacob Green, yourself, guys would come around. Yeah. And they was like, man, it's different. I wish we had that. But they was happy to be a part of that new era. So I had a relationship with the old guys and the ones who laid the path before us. And then I had the opportunity to be part of the new generation of this is what it's going to look like in the new, what was it, Questfield, I think, whatever, after that. And I'm just happy about it, man. And then they kept the tradition, and Walt, y'all Legion of Boom, y'all dudes came and just took it to another level and won and made all the Seahawks proud, brother.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they paying it forward. I mean, it came in, this Marcus deal took us underneath the wing.
Right. That's right.
The lawyer and Laura Malloy there, and you got to pay it forward, and like that, you could tell the foundation that you guys had set, continue to carry on, and that kind of just paved that way for us to be competitive. Obviously, that brotherhood that's in those position rooms, it's unmatched in some respects, and especially when everyone's on the same page, right mind, really trying to achieve something great. And so, you can tell how that dynamic, moved forward through the course of the time, from being there and then being passed down to this next generation of young DBs that are out there.
That's right.
So it's funny you bring up names, and I'm like, it's so cool to hear these great names, and then half of them have been on the show, and the other half are going to be. Jacob Green, who I was going against as a rookie. It's so funny. I don't know, about 2-3 weeks in, he probably pulls me and says, "Hey, rookie, when it's my drill, I win." And I'm like, hey, Mr. All Pro, all due respect, I'm trying to make a team, and I can't afford to let you win, But that's a great dude, and it's funny because when you say Paul Allen bought the team for $300 million.
Well, he was putting up money for the new stadium. $300 million, not even buying the team. That's how much he had put down as a commitment to the stadium, and I think the stadium at the time ended up being like $600 million or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. But I was there when Ken Behring purchased it from the Nordstroms for $80 million.
Wow, crazy.
Yeah, isn't it? But the prices have done, yeah. So it's pretty amazing. But the history of the team, and to watch the progression of it, and every team has its deal, but I think the Seahawks are one of the strongest franchises, and it's because of our fan base.
Yeah,
and I want to get into though what you're doing today, because I know you're busy with a number of different platforms. What is the thing you're focusing on most right now, Sean?
Yeah, man. Like, first of all, I think I credit a lot of my post-career success or transition to being in Seattle. And Dave, when those early years when we weren't good, more people went to like the Geek Wire conference than they played for the than do it to our games. More people is more excited about tech.
Right.
But one of the things that I had the privilege to be in Seattle was around 97 to like 04. That was that era where everybody was building these amazing tech companies. Microsoft was producing a millionaire every 12 days. Amazon is kicking off. So, and Seattle was one of those like big towns that everybody kind of knew each other. So you saw the growth, right, from Microsoft and everything. So I kind of got excited about technology because, man, being a kid from the East Coast, Washington, D.C., I ain't know nothing about like software, data, none of that stuff. But learning more about Mr. Allen and spending time with him, seeing how Seattle was changing, that kind of gave me that bug. Like, damn, like it's more to the world than just playing ball. It's some real opportunity. That led me to thinking like, I'm gonna play in the league, but what's next? And I always wanted to be around the venture world, start a company, entrepreneurship. My first company was called Wimpact. We did impact protection and helmets, right? We did the padding system inside of helmets, right? And at the same time, it's funny because we started off around the same time as a company called Vices. And Dave Marver is the CEO of Vices and stuff. They did the full helmet. We did the padding. And because we wanted to not compete with the Rydell's or Schuts and the Under Armours of the world, or people who make cricket helmets or military helmets, we did the padding solutions as an ingredient technology. Think of Gore-Tex for impact protection, right? We don't make the helmet, we just make the padding. So that kind of led me to being around engineers, learning material data, products, and stuff like that. Then my second company, I spun out of that, is a company called Innate IQ. It's around manufacturing software where, you take, data from like the CRM systems or some type of production software system. And we just take that data and use AI to help them manufacturers make better decisions. So I'm a little bit of focused around innovation and technology, mainly around manufacturing space, man. So that's what I do today, and spend a lot of my time. And, like anything, we athletes, man, once we start to dive into something, we get interested and, we'll grind now. That's one thing we all do. We'll grind, we work. So I can work hard at being good as a tech CEO, man.
Well, so and Walter, I always tease him, but I'm going to be serious now because I usually say like 18 patents, but he only has 5.
Yeah, I got that. How many patents do you have, Walt?
Yeah, about 4 or 5. It's some design stuff, and then some stuff in hardware and software technologies.
Oh, we got to talk, man. I spend a lot of time with the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
Okay, yeah,
I'm over there
right
all
there.
the time.
Yeah.
I'm right there in DC and the museums and all that stuff, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Hey, well, when we're done with the show, if you can hang out for 30 seconds, Sean, and exchange some numbers so we can, because you guys should make that happen. Walt's got some really cool stuff that he's been doing for a number of years, and has a brand new phone platform that he's launching. So it's great. It's great when former players do this. This is what the show's all about.
Yeah.
What are we doing, and how can we do it together? How can we support each other? Yeah. And talking about support, let's bring our 12s in. And Deanna Rowe, I know she's been following us since day one, and then Ron. So Ron Logan, husband and wife, right? I just want to make sure I got it right.
Yep. Yes. 20 years.
All right. Yeah. All right. Man, and look how close they are together. They're like loving on each other. But hey, Ron, an Army veteran, thank you very much for your service. Apropos to have you on today. Appreciate you.
It's an honor. It was an honor serving my country.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, Ron.
Yeah. And how many years were you in the Army?
About 8.
Okay. Wow. And in what capacity? What did you specialize in something, or were you just
Well,
running around with a gun, or what were you doing?
I walked into the recruiting office and they said, we need mechanics, or we need what they call mud divers, which is recovery specialist. So I drove a tow truck, but it was a tow truck on tracks. It was an M88, and we drove that around and did some of that stuff. And then I stuck around for a while. I made E5 after my first 3 years. And they put me in as a motor sergeant. So I worked in the motor pool.
Right on. Well, we appreciate you. And now you guys have both been fans for a minute. Who was first? Who was second?
Oh, I was first. I've been a fan since 1976.
Well, you win. So, and I know,
I just graduated high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm old.
She was a fan before I even knew who the Seahawks were. I'm from Nebraska originally.
Okay.
So I followed college football because Nebraska was huge back then.
Yeah.
So I followed college football until I moved out here, basically, and I moved out here in '84. So,
okay,
Hawks fan ever since,
and been a Hawks fan ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, as I mentioned, when the 12s come on, this is our time just to talk about Seahawks football. I always like to hear the fans' favorite memories. Because every once in a while they surprise us with something. But if you want to share, like maybe what for Deanna, I mean, you're stuck with it, right? I mean, you're in high school, you're up in Seattle.
Yep.
What else? Who else you gonna cheer for? So,
well,
but fondest memories.
Sox, I did cheer for Kansas City.
Oh, for the Super Bowl.
So, but other than that, once the Seahawks came in, it was all
okay.
But yeah, and then I have to admit I am probably one of Steve Largent's hugest fans, so that's kept me going all these years.
Yeah. Well, now Sean, you played with Brian. Did you play with Brian Blades at the
yeah, Brian. I was a rookie. Brian's probably last year or two, so I had a chance to play with Brian. Didn't have a chance. Steve's a little older, but Brian was most definitely the OG on the team at that time.
Yeah, that's right. We came in together.
Okay.
And Steve took Brian under his wings, and two different styles completely.
Mm-hmm.
Brian come from Florida, he was a little more flamboyant and flashy, and Steve just did Steve stuff,
right,
every day, and had a lot of respect for him. Yeah. And so you attached your wagon to a pretty good, not only a great football player, but a great man.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So we had him on the show, right, Walton?
Yep.
And he was talking about pork rinds or some kind of things he's doing through the Hall of Fame, to the Gridiron Greats. What was he doing?
It was like a chip manufacturing company. I think they were doing like pork rinds.
Yeah, we're gonna fundraising.
Veterans.
We have Steve Largent on the show, and talking about Hall of Fame career. We're talking about pork rinds, but anyhow.
But the craziest thing, I was in DC one time, and I was walking around and saw Steve walking out of the Capitol building, right? People forget he was in he was in Congress, right?
Senate.
So,
he was a senator.
He was a senator.
Oh, Senate. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah,
that's crazy. A lot of people don't know that. And I was just talking to him, and he was just, hey, you would never know if you see Steve after you retired. You wouldn't even think he played football, man. He's like, oh yeah, just talking politics, man. Bro, you was out there killing receivers. I mean, killing DBs. He was like, man, I just did my job, no big deal,
But Sean, that was kind of like half the team though from the 80s. Dave Craig didn't look. I mean, Dave, he just played 18 years or whatever he did. And you wouldn't tell him we were Paul Scansey. We called him Target. Because he would just settle down. He was that third down receiver over the middle, right? And he would just get pummeled. But those cats, outside of the uniform, you wouldn't know that they played ball.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah. Not like today. We walk around and like the receiver. I'm looking up at receivers. I used to be like the tallest cat in the huddle. And now like receivers are, 6'6", 240 running, whatever they're running, ridiculous stuff. It's amazing to see, how the players have evolved.
Yeah. Athletes, man. Athletes. Thurm, how tall are you, Thurm? You about 6'2", 6'3", right?
Oh no, I'm 5'11".
Okay.
Yeah.
Just pure speed, man.
Yeah.
Pure speed out there.
little speed, little quickness.
Yeah.
They got
I don't know nothing about that. My last year up in Montreal, Sean, I was 6'7", 360. Yeah.
How many times you do 225, Dave?
Huh?
How many times could you do 225? You
The best I did when I tried out
probably.
I tried out for the World League after I got released from Seattle. I did it 46 times. I do 4 sets of 25 with it today. I'm going to be 60 next month.
Man, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's strong, brother.
But Sean, mom is 6'2" in German. Dad was 6'7". My little brother's 6'9", still the all-time leading scorer for Azusa Pacific University. So we got some genealogy. There's a little bit of German, a little bit of Welsh in us. So.
The DesRochers are big people, huh?
Yeah. You got some Viking in you or something, man.
Something good. So hey, Ron. So what was it? Is it Deanna that got you to be a 12, or did you do that all on your own?
I think I did that pretty much all on my own. And since we've been together and stuff and we've watched a lot of football. And then we got involved with charity work and the Seahawkers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the official booster club of the Seattle Seahawks, in case you didn't know that. And we've done a lot of charity work. We do celebrity golf tournaments for
Kenny Easley and Randall Morris, Jacob Green.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys. And so we've had an opportunity to meet some of the former players and obviously some other celebrities. But, one of the things you said earlier about the guys being smaller than the guys today. Well, most of those guys have probably lost just a little bit of their muscle tone. And so they're a little bit smaller, but they're just normal guys out there when they're golfing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool to just be able to talk to them and realize that they had this amazing career as a football player, but they're just underneath all that. They're just normal, everyday people.
Well, and it's great to know that in the Seahawkers, as you mentioned, the official group, we've gotten to know so many of them. I was amazed that after starting the show and then going up for the alumni and getting invited to, 5 different parties at, 5 different locations, and every one of them was packed and everyone was in full regalia and chanting. And I'm like, holy smokes, man, this is nuts. But how awesome is it? But then every one of those clubs also, you guys are the South Sound, have, purpose. You guys have things that you guys do to not only support the former players, but to be involved with the philanthropy in the community. And that's also great.
Yes. That's one of the reasons I love being a part of the Seahawkers. I'm actually the vice president for the 2nd year in a row now. But yeah, just being able to go about finding our local charities that we can work with has been amazing. I've met some wonderful people doing it, and we've been able to help out a lot. At the end of each year, we have 4 or 5 local charities that we donate to.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Besides what we help them throughout the year. Yeah, we have a wonderful time doing what we do.
Well, so Nems just brought up. So I always like to share, and Walter and I, we were just talking about some of the things that we've been doing for veterans over the past week, and Big Brothers Big Sisters events to get involved in that fashion. I host a celebrity and veterans golf invitational at Coto de Casa in Orange County. We take over both courses, and we'll have 30 celebrities. and it's really kind of turning into a little bit of a Seahawks centric. We got a handful of guys. I don't know, Sean, if you play golf.
Hey man, send that invite, Dave. Send that. I need that, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
Send that invite. You said Orange County, like California.
Yes, sir. April 7th.
Hey, well, y'all send that invite. Don't leave me out on that one, brother.
Yeah.
And Walt can attest to it. It's a great event. We had over 40 veterans that we had play for free. Double amputees, triple amputees. We had 4 Marines, active Marines come from Pendleton, the 3-5 battalion. 18 to 20 years. I mean, just young kids. I don't know. They weren't 18 because they were drinking, so they had to be over 21. But they don't look it, Yeah. We didn't check any IDs. So, but then they came with their sergeant major, and it's just a great vibe. We do a little thing the night before with our veterans and celebrities and sponsor meet and greet, and then just have a blast playing golf. And it keeps growing every year, and we're having a really good time. And we have a handful of folks that have come out. 12 have come down, from Seattle. They will come out from Arizona, and then we have a bunch down here in Southern California. So if you guys are looking for a reason to get out of Seattle in April, you can come down and help us down here and hang out.
That's definitely something we're thinking of for sure.
Right on. Yeah, and we'll be posting it. Pardon?
We were going to do it last year, and then it got changed, and
Yeah.
so it ended up being changed on a time frame that we weren't able to help. So we're hoping this year we'll be able to.
Awesome. Yeah. So Sean, Walter knows this. So we're prepping and getting ready, and I'm sitting at Coda de Gaza, and then I just said the date, and no, it's not that date. I'm like, what do you mean it's not that date? I got people signed up. I got sponsors. I've got flyers. And they said, no, we had it for this date. And so we had to completely pivot.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm calling Anthony Munoz going, hey, bro. I have people flying from all over the country, and Byron Scott plays, Michael Cooper's going to play this year. And so it's a neat event. But anyways, so I'm like, so stressed out. But I think we brought up, being a former professional athlete, we grind. It was like, it
worked out too, because the original date got rained out.
Oh, that's what's up.
Thunder and lightning, and so it was, for me, it was kind of a God thing, but I could have stressed out about it, but no. The one host was like, "Oh, I'm gonna call our attorney." I'm like, "No, just give me another day. But let's push it a month to give me the time, because I had to, I was pedaling." So, but it all worked out. It all worked out. Thanks for reminding me, Walt, because I woke up that morning. I said, something bad better happen this day, because
this ain't right. Something ain't right.
I felt bad wishing bad things on it, because they didn't do anything. The club messed us up. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun getting involved with this whole thing, and we're having such a great time, and and we just keep growing it out. So, all right, Ron, Indiana, what are your fondest Seahawk moments? Watching. And none of us will be upset. You got 3 different decades here, so but there's plenty to choose from.
Well, I think first and foremost is the Super Bowl win.
We knew that. That might have been my fault.
When you've been a fan since day one, and we went through the 2005 horrible loss to the Steelers, to finally get that, and that happened just the year after my dad passed. Mm-hmm. And he was a huge Seahawks fan. And so to have that happen, it was just kind of like he was up there. I think he was up there helping you guys out along the way, but that was probably the most favorite.
Ron?
I look back at some of the film, and one of the greatest things that I liked about Steve Largent was when he got hit, and hit really hard, and and then he turned around and did the same thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hey, Ron, this is a Seahawks show. You could say he got cheap shotted,
Okay,
which he did,
he did.
and then he decleated that cat in a square hit.
Oh
And
yeah.
nice, and it was, his shot was absolutely legal and perfect,
Yeah.
and timing couldn't have been better,
No.
and the person couldn't have been better. So
Hey, that's a great memory. So Sean, then you left just before the Super Bowl run with the Steelers, then, yeah?
Yeah, man, I was on the team. Here's the crazy thing. That was that the 04 team? The 04 they went to Super Bowl?
04-05 season, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I was at Washington and they came to Washington and we beat them pretty good. They went on an 11-game win streak.
After that.
Remember that? They went on 11 game. The Seahawks went on 11-game win streak after that. Then we came back up to Seattle and had a big lead on them. And then they came back and beat the Redskins at the time, Commanders now. But so it was bittersweet because I was just like, damn, we can beat the Seahawks when we had them beat. But that's my former team, so I was like, if anybody's gonna go to the Super Bowl, I was happy for my guys, and Matt and Sean and all these guys. These are my friends. These are my boys. Especially True. He was like my little brother, so I was happy to see those guys go out there and perform, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. And actually, Trufant was supposed to come on a couple of weeks ago, and for scheduling, we couldn't do it. But he's gonna get on soon, so we'll get him to get some input on a young Sean Springs.
Hey, he gonna lie the whole time. Don't have Marcus on there telling no stories about me, man. Y'all wouldn't look at me the same, man. Y'all be like, oh no.
Yeah, we know they're all true.
That's right.
Yeah,
So-
we've had Marcus Trufant and his family foundation on a few of their events as well. So they're an awesome family, just an awesome family.
So Sean, Kenny texted me and said, "Hey, ask Sean about his pops, Ron Springs."
Yeah. So my dad obviously passed away, but a lot of people know my father, Ron Springs, played Dave. He was from 79 to 87. So I think just getting in the league when 88.
Yes.
So you might have just missed my dad, but my father played for the Cowboys. Tony Dorsett, Ed Too Tall Jones, Drew Pearson, Roger Staubach, Danny White days. So that was
Tom Landry.
Legendary coach Tom Landry. Mike Dicker was on that staff. Gene Starlin. That was my. I grew up a Cowboys fan, man.
Hey, everybody was, Sean. I mean, that's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's why I think they still get credit for those days. That's why people keep thinking they're going to do something. It's like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But,
So I grew up.
Everyone loved that team.
Man. Hanging out in the locker room, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So and you're talking about, I mean, you almost went down like a Hall of Fame list, and Staubach and Too Tall Jones and all these guys. I mean, that must have been amazing to be around.
Yeah, man, it was interesting. You're right. Like it was just like I was the little kid. Then I remember when Coach Landry and those guys, they would be on the fan bikes and they had the little, the old school Gatorade when it came in the little jug, like you see a little fountain. I used to go give them little cups of Gatorade and green. I was a little kid, me and Anthony Dorsett hanging around the facility, man. And that just was one of those kids, man, always been around ball, always was just, around it and loved the game. Today, guys like Tony Dorsett, Everson Walls, some of my dad's best friends, Drew Pearson, names you may remember. They were all like my uncles, man.
How did that experience being young? You're getting to pierce that veil of the professional football. Obviously, your dad's playing, so you got to see it, real time. But then just being able to hang around those guys in the locker room. How'd that experience help you through the course of your time playing football through Pop Warner, through high school, obviously getting to college, and just that reality of like, I can go play at this next level because you've seen it.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly. Like oftentimes as professional athletes, we are looked at as superheroes. To me, that was like my dad and my uncle. So I knew it was possible and I knew it was real. And so first of all, if you can see something, you can achieve it, at least know like you achieve it. So then growing up, going to Jack Lambert football camp, you ain't gonna know these names, like Jack Lambert football camp, old school, going to these Jim Kelly football camp, going to all these camps and being around these guys, man. I believed it. And then as I got older, I started learning from these pros. I'm in the locker room. Then I'm in high school. My dad always taught me, like, this is what it takes to be good. And then, so by the time I got to college, or even when I was in high school, I knew the game of football like I was a college kid. My dad would be laying on the couch and be like, it's 3rd and 15. What you thinking? Anybody want to draw? So we were talking football, just like if your dad was a doctor, I'm quite sure, or a lawyer, you're talking legal or medical. So that helped me out a lot. So by the time I got to college, I was prepared in a sense. I knew the weakness of cover 4, cover 3, cover 2. So it was an advantage. And then
that's a huge advantage.
Yeah, it's a huge.
Guys don't even know that in the league.
Yeah. So it was a huge. You're absolutely right. So it was a huge advantage. So that's why when you think about why I got drafted so high, it was because of a lot of these guys. Like he's a day one. Soon he's line up in the pros. He day one starter. Like he ain't gonna have no learning curve. Some of it to get adjusted to the speed of the game, but even then, going to Ohio State, going against Joey Galloway, Terry Glenn, Ricky Dudley, Eddie George, Corey Stringer, all these cats were my college teammates. So, man,
and just pro level talent in college too, and you got that mentality of
all pro dudes. Antoine Winfield is my backup. You know what I'm saying? Those that I'm Matt Plummer, and then one of the biggest things for guys is, I had that, we all have those up and downs in the league, man. Every athlete on this phone, on the Zoom has had a time when they land in the dark, like, what the hell am I doing? Am I gonna make it today? Hey, we all been there with that. The greatest speech is the one you give yourself in the dark. Like, come on, you got it. But having a father that I could call and say, hey, man, kind of mapping out my career. Hey, learn as much as possible. Be humble early. When you get to this, take care of your body. Years 10, here's how they're going to be looking at your contract. This is how you prolong yourself. So I always had that playbook and father figures and uncles and people I could lean on because they usually experienced. It was nothing for me to pick up the phone and call Everson Walls or Dennis Thurmond, who's coaching the league, or it's just crazy, right? Like now that I think about it, it's just like, so I had that advantage. I wish more young guys, and I tell young guys in the league now, man, like it's some guys out here, man, like we've experienced everything. It's probably nothing that a lineman has seen that Dave probably hasn't experienced mentally, physically, financially. It's like so much that we could give back. And I think I think guys are doing a good job of doing it, but I wish, we got to continue to promote that, have real podcasts like this and have some great discussions where people can, have these real conversations and stuff like that, man. So that's what I would encourage people to continue to do.
Yeah. The one thing too, we're gaining awareness on is the whole mental health issues of a lot of, the young guys. And what I was going to ask you, because you experienced that high expectation when you're the 3rd overall pick, first round, right? You're walking onto that field and there's an immediate expectation of John Springs, because of being that pick. And so many young men don't hold up to it. But man, you had that village around you. I mean, you had some dudes, right, that you could rely on. But what was that like for you? What did you feel coming into the league, coming into Seattle, that high draft pick?
Well, when on my combine day, at first the Seahawks had like the 11th pick, and then after I did my combine, they brought the whole staff in. Randy Mueller, Mickey Loomis, who's at the Saints now, Coach Erickson, who was there for my first 2 years. And they basically brought me in, and I never forget, they were like, we're looking for a person that you will be the face of the organization going forward, how we will look to draft people. And it was almost like, we're not going to get a quarterback. And then it was nervous because it was like, we joined a 3 and we might not get you at, at number 3, you might go 1 or 2. And so I felt a huge responsibility because I was Mr. Allen's first draft pick, and he just said, listen, the Seahawks have over years, we want to change this reputation and make this a certain type of organization, a winning organization. Coming from Ohio State. So they were laying it out. You coming from Ohio State, you guys won, you did this, blah, blah, blah. So Dave, man, it was like, I felt like I was and then they also drafted Walter Jones. And I remember when Coach Hongerman, y'all have please have Big Walter on y'all show. When y'all have Big Walter on y'all show, he'll tell you. Yes. Like Coach Hongerman pulled me and Walter Jones when he got here. He pulled us in, and he's like, like we said, you guys are our building blocks, and there's gonna be some change. And obviously they let Cortez and some people go. And me and Walter were like 22 years old, 23 years old, like, damn, like, and they start to build around, Walt with Big Hutch, and other guys and stuff like that. And then they had myself, then they brought us some free agencies guys, but they were just like, these are 2 pillars of this new modern Seahawks, and we want everybody to be smart, hard work, blah, blah, blah. And they just talked to me like, so it was pressure, but it wasn't, because if you believe in yourself, and we all have high standards, if you put that saying, I'm gonna work hard every day, and go in every day and just go get it. I had the right mentality, but I was also humble enough to position myself to learn and just not have an ego about it. Just go out there and just grind, bro. Yeah. Just grind, and things paid off.
That's awesome. So before, because Deanna and Ron, I'm going to let you fire some questions at these guys. But before I do that, I have my lovely fiance always reminding me to say stuff because I forget. When I'm old and concussed. I got age and issues. So we are launching our new YouTube channel. I may have mentioned that, but hey, guys, subscribe to it, because next week we're going to be on that brand new platform. And we just launched our Instagram. We've had our Facebook. Everything is Hawk Talk 12. Hawk Talk with a W, Hawk Talk 12, Instagram, Facebook, and we're coming out with our website. And but if you subscribe and you follow us on those 2, we're going to be giving away some pretty cool stuff. One of which is this cool Hawk Talk mini helmet signed by, of course, Walter, Legion of Boom, Super Bowl champ, and this old guy. So we'll be sending that off to somebody. Just shoot us a memo that you've subscribed. We're going to trust you. And we love your support. Mm-hmm. So Deanna, Ron, any questions for Sean or Walter or me, but mostly Sean or Walter?
They've been talking a lot this year about concussions. In fact, for the last several years, they've been, and you're like right there in the middle of all of it. Mm. And I think that's kind of carrying on, like you said. You've been part of the family for ever since you grew up, and now you're doing something for college and professional football to protect athletes so that they can play longer. I really think that's amazing. I'd like to hear a lot more about that sort of thing, because I mean, that's on everybody's mind. You hit a quarterback, or you see somebody hit a quarterback and they get a 15-yard penalty. It's like, I'd like to see, I'd like to see the quarterbacks be protected so that when they get hit like that, there isn't a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, Ron, that, in the last probably 10 years, the NFL has been doing a much better job at challenging manufacturers of the helmet companies to build Not that they put that helmet up, man. You get concussed in that helmet. So, put that helmet up.
Good thing. And what people don't realize is I hand them a hammer and I say, hit this thing as hard as you want. You can't make that. That's 6'7", 365 peeling off DBs 20 yards down. So part of it too has been the mindset. And Seattle was the foremost on the whole new ways of tackling, and you're probably part of that, right, Sean? The crossbody tackle, and you guys perfected it.
The rugby style tackling. Yes. I know about it. But the NFL was challenged the manufacturers to make better products. To how we look at practice, because a lot of times, and Dave probably experienced it more than me and Walter. But a lot of times these guys would be banging in practice. I mean, they some full throttle tool tackling. And then some of the league rules changed, Ron, where it was like, hey, man, you ain't hitting but 1 day a week or 2 days a week versus every day a week. You know what I mean? So that changed. And I think the medical awareness and understanding of what was going on has been improved a lot. Dr. Stan Herring, I don't know if he was still there when you was there, Walt, Dr. Herring.
Yeah.
The team doctor, but Dr. Herring and UW and some of the people down there, they led the way at like say about concussion awareness and like recovery for these guys. Like, you know, back when they played, they just gave you some little sniffles and tell you
the ammonia,
little ammonia till you get back in there. And then when I played, it was like, you know, you're going to be all right for the next week. And then by the time Walter came around, it was like, listen, man, you know, we got to be more smarter. Soon we recognize it, be able to take you out of the game. So there's been an evolution of safety and guys are getting better. Helmet technology is getting better. So, yeah, I've been in it, you know, doing my part in making the game safer for the next generation for sure.
How long you been building the interior cushions for the helmets right now?
Man, I started that in 2010.
Okay.
And worked with Under Armour shirt. Like if y'all saw the World Series, the Yankees catcher's mask, that Evil Shield, that padding, that's my technology, cricket helmets and stuff. Don't work with anyone in the NFL right now, but you know, that company, Winpact, had been around and we were like an ingredient technology. Ron, you were like this. I work with the Army Research Lab and the guys like Natick a lot for ballistic impacts for the enhanced combat helmet, the military helmet. So we did a lot of that work with the military because obviously, you know, military, their rules are a little different. You know, we get, you know, thank God that, you know, the military is wanting to protect their soldiers more because they're playing for their lives. But
lot more stringent, I guess, processes for, you know, the materials they want to use.
Yeah, stopping a bullet versus a hit is a little different. You know, so you know it's a little different challenge, but it's there. So, in that company, man, and so get to work with some cool stuff. But man, like I'm just excited about the fact that the way the league is going with when you see all the new commercials with all the technologies and stuff. You know that it wasn't even like that before. We couldn't pick. I don't even know if we could. When I was in the league, I don't even think I could pick a helmet. It was like either Rydell or whatever. Now you guys got choices and stuff. I could pick my pair of cleats with Nike, and Dave, I know when you were around, man, I know they just gave you this.
The bike, we had bike helmets.
Get your big old German head. You know.
Yeah. So I'm playing in the Hula Bowl. You know, Thurmond Thomas, Icky Woods, you know, Tim Brown. And we're playing the Hula Bowl. I'm going against Scott Davis, first round draft pick to the Raiders. And after the first quarter, my air bladder broke. So they didn't have anything to fix it. So they gave me a knee pad, and I put a knee pad on top of my head, and then my helmet. I played 3 quarters against the best players in college at the time. You know, running around like a knucklehead.
And you didn't concussion or anything?
Oh, who knows, Ron? You don't remember, Ron. You know, he probably gave out a whole bunch of concussions. Look at the chops on that guy. Hey, Ron, me and Walter would have made business decisions on that one. We'd be like,
oh, yeah, no way.
if Dave come around the corner, man, run the other way, man.
Yeah, no, that happened. That happened, Sean. I'm running downfield, and the DB goes, "Oh, hell no, 73. I seen you on film." And he ran the other way.
Yeah.
It only takes one time. Watch a little bit of film, like 73. He's gonna get you slipping. Watch him.
Hey, that guy throw you out the club, man. Get away from that guy.
Don't stand around the pile. So, Deanna, you got anything for the guys? We're gonna wrap it up.
Actually, all I want to do is thank you all, because Dave, I know you do a lot with the veterans.
Yeah.
And I so appreciate that. My dad was in the military. He was Marines, Army Reserves, Air Force Reserves. So what you do for all of them, I so appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. My mom and stepfather in the Army, by the way. My mom was in the Army.
Nice.
And Walter, the Boys and Girls Club, that kind of holds a special part for me. In the 90s, I was a big sister.
Oh, nice.
For a while, so I can understand what that's all about. And then, Sean, what you're doing to help protect our men and women with head injuries and whatnot, that's just awesome. So thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
Hey, and thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope you guys all had a good time. And you guys are, like I said, welcome. I have your contact information. I'll send you the updated link for the tournament. Sean, if you can stick around just for 1 minute, or I can get the number from.
You got all. Kenny got all my information too.
Okay, all right. So
tell Kenny. Kenny's listening. Put us on a group text or email or something.
Very good. And hey, Walt, another great show. Love doing this every single week. We appreciate you guys. Hey, love and respect each other, and we'll see you all next Tuesday at 7:00 on our new format. Follow us. We'll see you.
Yeah, go Hawks.
Go.